Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing marvelously well. We're going to do a review of Antares Auto-Tune Unlimited. So this is going to be interesting because, of course, I understand all the voices are going off like, wow, tuning. Well, I don't just tune for the sake of it, but I do, especially when I begin something to mix and I've got a note or two that needs tweaking, I will use it. Many professionals do. When you have no choice and you can't re-sing, it is a wonderful tool. But there's a little bit more to it. Antares themselves, with this unlimited package, have incorporated not just tuning, but a snizzle ton of features. So let's go and check it out. Oh, and by the way, we're giving away 3 copies of it as well. So stick around. So don't forget, of course, you can go down there, you can hit the subscribe button, and if you hit the bell, you'll be notified when we have more videos. And go to producelikeapro.com. You can sign up for the email list, get a whole bunch of free goodies. So there's nothing more of a dividing line than I think talking about either one of two things, drum samples or vocal tuning. You know, this is a conversation that has been had now for many, many years since Antares, I think, were the first, and they came out with this. And one thing that's pretty clear is we've always cheated. We just have. I love hearing stories of how they would slow down the tape, you know, in the 60s and 70s to get the high notes so they could hit the high notes and then speed it back up again. There was all kinds of things that we did. Then there was the first samplers, of course, where they would sample in like, you know, up to maybe a whole whopping second into a sample and then, you know, play it, trigger it on the keyboard, but use the pitch bend wheel on a tuner above the desk. I've heard it from every single engineer. This is all great and absolutely wonderful. And I don't subscribe to just tuning for the sake of it. However, when you're given stuff to mix and there are issues with it, it is rather wonderful that you can go in and tweak a note or two. But Antares have been around forever and they've been doing this really, really well. And I use the graphical mode, which I'm going to show you in 1 second, but they've done more than that. They're giving us a whole bunch of other tools. And my headphones keep banging this mic, so let's put them on to stop that from doing it. So the first plugin I want to try out, I'm very excited about because I have had the pleasure of recording a talk box before. And the way it works is a vocal controls a sound, like a keyboard or, obviously most famously in Joe Perry's case, a guitar. So what I've done is I've opened up the articulator, that's the digital talk box, and I put it on a synth part in the chorus. And now I've sent via a sidechain input here, a lead vocal to it. So here is the sound of the synth and the lead vocal without the plugin on. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be. Now let's see what that synth sounds like controlled by the lead vocal. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that I left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that I left was half a heart. Yes! Absolutely love it. You could put that on all kinds of instruments, but I absolutely love it. Need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that I left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? I love that effect. I'd probably print it back onto a track and play around with the timing and all kinds of stuff, but what a fantastic tool. So we're going to try the mic mod. Now, what this does is it allows you to choose the mic that you sung on and then make it sound like a different mic. Yes, it's as simple as that. So what's interesting about this song is we were using a Jay-Z, I think it's called a BB29, and that was basically a blueberry. So I've selected the blueberry here, and I've told it to be a U47. There's a characteristic in our U47 which just has a little tiny bit more body. So Steve is belting. This is a rock song. He's going for it. So let's listen to it in bypass. I'm going to just play a little bit of a phrase here a couple of times. Obviously, we're on YouTube, so hopefully it will translate, but have a listen to the vocal.
And if you leave me, I won't be late again. And if you leave me, I won't be late again.
When he goes, whoa, there's like a what? There's a little tiny bit of low mid build up. Let's see, when I take it out of bypass, see here I selected blueberry here, and I've output it as a Neumann U47. You'd expect to hear a little bit more oomph on that whoa. So let's see if we got it.
And if you leave me, I won't be late again.
Yep, it's there. Let's just get this little piece. Have a listen to I'm going to bypass it in and out and see if you can hear that very obvious low boost.
I won't be late again. I won't be late again.
Bypass.
I won't be late again. I won't be late again.
Back on.
I won't be late again. I won't be late again. I won't be late again.
Let's add some tube saturation.
I won't be late again. I won't be late again. I won't be late again.
Oh, yeah.
I won't be late again.
Tons of it. I want to hear it in the track.
Oh, please believe me. I'd hate to miss the train. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you leave me, I won't be late again. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, yeah. I got a feeling, yeah. I got a feeling. All these years I've been wandering around, wondering how come nobody told me. All that I was looking for was somebody who looked like you.
So yeah, it's definitely darkening it. It's adding tons of saturation. I mean, to be honest, I feel like you could do this on anything. We could take a guitar part and just add more tube saturation to it. For instance, it's, doesn't have to be on a vocal. You could take a guitar part, you could tell it was a SM57 if you recorded 57, and then see what it sounds like with something tubish and drive it harder. What another cool and interesting way to add saturation, color, and different sounds. I remember Antares were one of the first people to do mic modeling, so it's great to see them back doing something really good like this. All right, we've done a bit of mic modeling, we've driven it hard. Let's try the duo, which is basically a doubler.
Oh, please believe me. I'd hate to miss the train. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you leave me.
So you've got timing variation and pitch variation. At the moment, it's very close. You can hear how close it is. So let's change the pitch a bit more drastically.
Oh, please believe me. I'd hate to miss the train. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you leave me, I won't be late again. Oh, no. Oh, no.
This is really good now.
Oh, no. Yeah, yeah. I got a feeling, yeah.
Sounds like a really nice double. Now I'm going to bring the double down.
Oh, please believe me.
In the track.
I'd hate to miss the train. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you leave me, I won't be late again. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, yeah. I got a feeling, yeah.
I mean, I really wanted to go to a rough rock-sounding vocal to see what this would do. It's pretty tasty. These are good tools. I've built loads of doubles in my life, and I usually try to end up sounding as tight as that, but I've got the timing quite a bit out. I've got the pitch out a bit. I've increased the vibrato here. The vocal timbre I increased. I brought the double down, and I'm pretty happy with this.
Oh no! Oh no! Yeah! Yeah! I got a feeling!
This is really great for when you're given something where you've only got a lead vocal and you're really trying hard to create some variation in a mix. Really tasty. So here we have a song by London Lohan. It's a big, beautiful, kind of Adele-sounding song. London is an incredible singer. I've got a de-esser trick that I was doing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try out their new de-esser. And it's named after Sybil Shepherd. I mean, it's called Sybil for sibilance.
You were one I should have never let go. A memory of you, that's all I know. You turn your back on loving now, tearing up my heart into pieces into the ground. You let them fall. It's the darkness that hurts the most, and it's the lonely that chills my bones.
Bypass it.
You were one I should have never let go. A memory of you, that's all I know. You turn your back on loving now, tearing up my heart into pieces into the ground. You let them fall. It's the darkness that hurts the most, and it's the lonely that chills my bones. It's the scars that hide the truth.
Wow, it seemed to work really, really well straight away. If you're getting a package of stuff and they throw in a de-esser and it sounds different and works differently to others, it's not a bad idea. You'll find that quite often, many mixers, myself included, will either do a de-essing trick where we just find the most offensive frequency and dip that out, like the Bob Clear mounting trick, or we use 2 or 3 different de-essers by different people. Because they don't all work the same way, having a couple of variations is always good. But this seems to be quite aggressive, but works really nicely.
And it's the lonely that chills my bones. It's the scars that hide the truth. But it's
It's working really, really quick, like super, super fast. The attack and release times on it are, I don't know, nanoseconds, like really, really fast. Now, there is a choir feature. So here is the choir.
I'm loving now, tearing up my heart into pieces into the ground. You let them fall. It's the darkness that hurts the most,
16 voices.
and it's the lonely that chills my bones. It's the scars that hide the truth, but it's the heart that makes me run back to you. Ooh.
This is interesting because one of the tricks I do, as I'm sure many of you know, is the vocal thickening trick, which is to take multiple voices and then detune them. And this is essentially doing that, but doing it automatically.
Chills my bones. It's the scars that hide the truth, but it's my heart that makes me run right back to you.
This is going to get used a lot. I can see this being a very, very popular plugin. I use the H3000 trick, and I love Eventide, and we detune and either plus or minus like 3 down on one side and 3 up, 3 down, 6, 9. This is doing it now with 32 voices detuned.
You were one I should have never let go. A man with you, that's all
Bypass.
I know. It's on your back.
Bring it back in.
Loving now, tearing up my heart and
So just a taste of it in there, where you just start to hear it near the end there, where I put it. That volume was about right for me. When you've got it just against the piano, you're going to bring it down, but when the band starts coming in, bring it up. It's just a great way to make the lead vocal unaffected just feel like it's pushed forward a little bit. That's a great little plugin, and it's super simple and straightforward. Got vibrato, pitch variation, and timing variation, stereo spread. Pretty tasty. I mean, let's do something before I move on and just make it mono.
you were one I should have never let go. A man with you, that's all I know. You turn your back on loving now, tearing up my heart into pieces until the ground you let them fall. It's the darkness that hurts the
So what I would do there, in those sections, I would turn it down so it's barely in there and have it mono or just around the vocal just a little bit, and then bring it up a little bit and pan it super wide, automate it so it's super wide in the chorus. Great little effect. Very, very common effect that's been done, using a harmonizer and stuff for years with people pitch changing, but that works. It's got 3 controls with a stereo. It's stupidly simple, really good plugin. So what we have here is Aspire, which is the aspirational noise processor. So I can either increase or decrease the noise. Now, for me, I read that as being the breath sometimes, the air in the vocal.
Can't forget I passed along.
Is bypassed.
Can't live regretting.
I'm on increase at the moment.
A mistake.
Here it's at 1.5K.
I couldn't help myself in love. I've been bound to fall. It's the darkness that hurts the most. Can't forget I passed love. Can't live regretting. Our mistakes weren't worth the making. I couldn't help myself in love. I've been bound.
So it's adding some crazy artifacts, but there's plenty of times when I want to mess things up a little bit more. What we should really be doing is taking, like, David from Workday Release's voice, which is very, very pure, where he sort of came off like an emo kind of voice, where it's like this, and tried on that, because you take a voice that's got a very, very pure single note, not a lot of breath around it, not a lot of grit in the voice, and put it on that. London has too much of that sometimes. So why don't we do the opposite? Let's go to reduce here.
Can't forget I passed love. Can't live regretting. Our mistakes weren't worth the making. I couldn't help myself in love. I've been bound to fall. It's the darkness that hurts.
It's going to be an interesting tool. I think you're going to be taking whatever vocal you want, something that's maybe got a lot of grit and just and some air in there that you don't want, some noise in there you don't want, and try and reduce it. Or, like I said earlier, the opposite, where you have something that's super clean and you just want to mess it up a little bit. Sometimes saturation solves the problem. I know with David's voice, we would put saturation on it and a whisper track and everything. Having tools in your arsenal that you understand allows you to be able to do things like this. So, for instance, with London here, I had a whisper track going.
Can't forget I passed love. Can't live regretting.
So I could clean up the vocal, make it as clean as I want, and then add a whisper track afterwards. So this next plugin is called Throat. And honestly, I want to see what it does.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my.
Gonna turn off the effects.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb.
Oh. The breathiness.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heart.
So we're just talking about how a Aspire could add some random noise in there or remove some random noise. This is for the breathiness.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb. I can't move, can't.
This is great.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb.
So I just changed the throat modeling to make it longer.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb.
Source throat precision, extreme.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb.
Turn on the level matching.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb.
It's really crazy. It's not changing the pitch, but it's changing the whole timbre, the whole tonality of the vocal. It's freaking me out a little bit. I mean, I could use it a little bit more subtly. Let's just bring it down here.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb. I can't move, can't change a thing, I bend, I break, just know you played a part, you know who you are, I'm not.
Yeah, this could be really, really good on certain singers that when they're in full voice and they go to a high note and it gets really thin. This is really smart. This has been my favorite thing so far. This is really smart. This is really good. I've actually got a vocal I'm thinking of, Eric, shush, where there's a high note and it just gets thin. I could just take that high portion of the chorus and use it on that and just process it on that moment just to give it a little bit more body back. Also, think about it from a point of view of background vocals where we've been using lots of plugins up till now, which are solving problems like building whole choirs and, all this kind of stuff off of one vocal. What about if you use this in multiple stages of different backgrounds you've recorded and give different tonality to those vocals so it sounds like it's not just one person singing all the backgrounds? Aha! This is a really good plugin. I haven't had this before. For those of you that have used this before, you can laugh at me at my expense. I don't mind. This is pretty miraculous. This is a really, really good plugin. Next up, we have Punch, which is a vocal enhancer.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun.
Oh.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep.
hear that in the chorus.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew.
Bypass it, have a listen.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that left was.
I'm bringing down the gain to gain match a little bit, but even with the gain down, you can feel like everything is being pushed forward.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and
I got a limiter on there. I'm going to take it off and listen to it with no limiting, just this plugin.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that left was half a heart.
Wow. This is kind of a one size fits all, does everything you need it to do plugin.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start.
Add the throat.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart?
I brought down the ceiling because it was going over a little bit and you can hear a bit of clipping. But, you know, we're just opening up and trying it for the first time. I'm bringing the impact up, the gain down, ceiling down.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I really need someone. All that left was half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
Wow. Pretty fantastic. Pretty fantastic. So next up is the harmony engine. I'm really excited to try this on a pop track of Lily's. Let's go to our lead vocal here.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart.
So I've got a third harmony going there. So I'm going to mute that. I'm going to see how much better this is because it's built off the lead vocal. So this is going to be very exciting. Wow. So here it is. This is the harmony engine. So I'm going to select F. First of all, I'm just going to press play and see what happens.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be.
Straight away, it's in the track.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart.
That was pretty straightforward. Let's have a listen again.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside.
So this is the vocal input.
Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need.
So I'm going to take that one and put it in the middle, the low one.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. Oh, I knew where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my half a heart.
So I've got voice one. There's so much I can do here. So I'm going to select this input here, I see I can go up to 16 voices. Default is 2.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot.
4.
Stitch me up inside before I rip apart.
8.
I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot and stitch me up
Oh, nice.
inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot and stitch me up inside.
Wow, this is pretty crazy. Now, I know lots of you have probably used these kind of things many, many times, but this is not something I typically go for. I'm usually tracking a whole bunch of vocals, but, I'm trying to get like a modern kind of pop track. It's immediately, here's without it.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot.
Put it on.
And stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where
I mean, it really does start sounding like a gang vocal singing in tune. Now, let's naturalize it.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone.
You can have some fun with this. We could come in and go, well, there's that high one.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat.
Let's just bring that down.
Stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start.
This is really kind of cool. I want to have some fun with it, though. I've got the double down here. So if we get this chorus double, for instance. So now the chorus double has the harmonies.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot.
But the lead vocal's now clean.
I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot and stitch me up inside before I rip apart. I wonder where I'd be if I had you from the start. I'm gonna need someone to fix my hat full hot.
So used subtly like that, it can suddenly be a big pop song. You could take a vocal double. You could apply it to it. Really, really kind of cool. And then, of course, if you want to get really, really adventurous with it, you can use it to really heavily to create some really interesting effects as well. There is a plugin called Auto Key. So here we go. We've opened Auto Key, and I'm just going to highlight the track. Now, obviously, you can put this on the master bus and then have it listen that way. But I've got a 2-track of it down here. So I'm going to hit render. I've highlighted a piece of the track. By the way, the song's in A, and it tells us it's in A. So there you go. Simple as that. Really great, quick function. And this is good for, if you're just starting out engineering and you're just learning to play music, it's a great help to do this thing. So great new function. We did a cover of a Beatles song the other day, and my vocal was not tuned at all, and nor was Steve's. I let it go completely the way it was. So let's have a quick listen.
Everybody had a hard year. Everybody had a good time. Everybody had a wet dream. Everybody saw the sunshine. Oh yeah.
So it's sort of sung, it's sort of conversational, but let's check it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the Audio Suite version here. The way Audio Suite works in Pro Tools, if you didn't already know, is you're just processing the file. I know in each DAW there's 100 different ways of doing it. I prefer to do this rather than put a plugin on the channel itself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the graphical mode, which is here. I am going to select pitch and time, just in case I want to time stretch it, which I'm sure I'm not going to, but I'm doing it anyway. And I'm going to render those 2 lines. Super quick, done, captured. Now, this vocal was sung once, and it's not that good. So you can see I'm all over the pitch because there's da 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 da. It's C sharp. It's climbing down. The next note should be a B. I'm sort of like A sharp plus, and then A. And see, even though I'm drawing a line to where it should go, and this is the, this should actually be one note. So I just drew across there in graphical. Now, as you can see, none of this is turning into a straight line. This is the indication of a note it wants to be, and it's keeping the curvature. So just that quick, easy thing that I did there on my not very good vocal, if I render that, well, let's go to the second one. Everybody put the sun down. So I should go down on that note there. And what you can do is you can play the melody on the guitar or the piano or something before, so you know what it is. So the resolve note is actually an F sharp. So I'm undoing it, redoing it.
Everybody had a hard year. Everybody had a good time.
Let's solo it.
Everybody had a hard year. Everybody had a good time. Everybody had a hard year.
It's pretty detailed. In the track, it's barely noticeable. Here, I probably could correct this a little bit more. So what I could do is go back to pitch and time, grab the note, and you'll see it's the last note that I sung there. And my vibrato's a little, you know, it could be better. We could tune it a little harder.
Everybody had a good time.
So what's interesting here is the tune phrase going into the last note.
Everybody had a good time.
See how bad my vibrato is naturally? Now let's see what Auto-Tune has done with it.
Everybody had a good time.
It's like, it's still got my same warble, but now it's in tune.
Time.
out of tune.
Time.
The thing about using these kinds of tools is it's all about using your ear. It's like, how much do you want to tune it? What I did is I took a very, very wide vibrato, which is actually moving over a semitone and totally uncontrolled, and brought it closer to the note. And to be honest, most of what I do when it comes to tuning is thinking that way. I'm not going in there with a hard edit, super pop approach unless I'm doing a really, really super pop vocal. So let's go to this first phrase here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another couple of tools that I like to use where you can get a little bit more fancy with it. So if I now load in this first line, which I've already tweaked a little bit, but let's load it back in and let's see what else we can do with it. And again, I'm not advocating that you have to be tuning all the time. You should do what sounds good to you. Sometimes I'll just work on one tiny piece of a note. This was a live vocal and I didn't do any kind of tuning to it at all. It's just one performance. Okay, so I'm going to hit here the import audio. And if you see, as soon as I hit that, it actually brings in an approximation to the nearest note. I can also do make curves and then it exactly copies it. And a lot of us like to make curves because you can chop this, for instance, grab the piece itself like that and pull it down. That way you don't actually mess with the curve itself. Just draw a little tiny, and it keeps it a lot more natural sounding like this. Just do some subtle things. This is why I personally like graphical. I've always only worked in vocals in graphical rather than using any kind of auto function because I can preserve the integrity as much as possible. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to laugh at me when I say integrity because I am tuning my voice, but then I'm not a great singer and it was only one take. Here we go. Let's render it.
Woo! Everybody had a hard year. Everybody had a good time. Everybody had a wet dream. Everybody saw the sunshine. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Everybody had a good year. Everybody let their hair down. Everybody pulled their socks up.
Cool. So those were the only two lines that really bothered me, just those first two, and I just pulled them in ever so gently. And remember, always keep a duplicate of the playlist. So if you tune something and you don't like what it's doing, you can always drop in the original in the places you don't want. Really, for me, I try to avoid using anything on the auto function. I do know some mixers that will put a auto-tune function on it in the key of the song and then very lightly tune it. We have a tube saturation generator. Let's check that out.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun.
Omnitube or something?
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep.
So Velvet's pretty subtle. It's got a crunch.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heartbeat, left my love with the sun, left me feeling so numb.
I can see this being used on all kinds of things, not just vocals. Very cool. Next up is the Mutator, the Extreme Vocal Designer.
Night falls like a soldier, can't sleep, thoughts are bleeding, lost my heart, and I'm flooded with now I feel
Alien Eyes. Holy shnikes. I'm sure that's what she was saying there. Wait there, we just changed languages?
Heartbeat left my if you believe in us, nicht nicht schlange meine was ich want we body you noch in my sound it's hand of fire it's names the boss and if that's we if we don't know so that's if we in my sound never fast
The thing with plugins like this is you can hear it on all kinds of instruments, not just vocals. But I love the fact that it's just great. It's going to be so much fun on different instruments. So a huge amount of things to play with. I can see it being used on vocals all over the place. But let's be honest. When you get plugins like this that could really mess things up in a really cool way, they're going to be on everything, especially if you're building like dance tracks and you just want to randomize and make things a little bit wrong. I mean, using the choral effect on a lead guitar. Why the heck not? The Mutator, put on any instrument to just completely ruin it at a point in the song to make it more interesting. So they're doing this for $250 a year. They're doing a yearly thing. You can try it on a 14-day free trial, like 11 or 12 plugins. There's like 5 versions of Auto-Tune, lots of things to play with. But of course, you can enter to win one of 3 copies. That was a lot of fun. And a couple of things I'm going to use a lot are the choral sound. I think that's going to be pretty huge. The throat control, where you get to thicken the vocals, is going to be used a lot. It's a really, really smart tool. We're working on a song at the moment where the singer on full voice goes super high and it gets very narrow, and we're going to put a bit of that on it. These are great tools. It's every year we're getting something new. And of course, like anything, either use it completely over the top to destroy the sound and make it something totally original, or get in there and use it subtly to just improve things in a beautiful way. Great work. Of course, as ever, please leave any comments and questions below. If you've already been using these tools, let us know your experiences, and God bless it. It's interesting because I think to myself, when I used to only record on tape, a lot of the things that, are done in digital were achieved by slowing down tapes, recording things that's slower, tempos to get higher notes. We used to do a lot of it, but digital actually never sounded quite as good emulating what tape could do. This is starting to sound super, super close. And that throat control, huge deal for me. The mic model is going to be really cool. I'm going to be using that to like change things up and make them sound completely different. The doubler on Steve's vocal, I thought sounded really, really good. When I'm giving stuff to mix, I've only got a single vocal. It's going to be really fantastic. All right, thanks ever so much. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Don't forget to enter to win one of 3 copies. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adios, adio, au revoir, goodbye, auf Wiedersehen.